Today we're going to break the rules slightly. We're stepping outside the Berkshire postcode and we're in Denham, Bucks, and we're here to meet someone who's got very strong ties with Slough and Windsor, someone who lived in Slough for quite a few years and runs a regular night in Windsor. We're here to meet CJ the DJ, otherwise known as Chad Jackson.
Hi, I'm Chad Jackson and I've been a producer, DJ and general layabout for a number of years, and here we are with the Berkshire Blag. Well, what I love about Slough and Berkshire is I've made a lot of friends since I moved here about maybe 30 years ago, and it's always had a really healthy music scene. One of the original reasons I came down here was from up north in Manchester, and it was the DMC lot were in Slough, and I used to do a lot of mixes for DMC alongside other people. You know, there was loads of people there: Paul DeCane, Steve Anderson, who works with Kylie now, Dave Seaman, millions of others. You know, a great hotbed of talent that place was. You know, and it was just, well, originally it was at Tony and Christine Prince, who run the company. They used to run it from their house in Burnham, but then it moved to a trading estate in Slough. And you wouldn't believe the amount of amazing mixes that were done in these studios, in this hidden away in this trading estate, you know, in Slough. Brilliant. So I used to travel down a lot to do mixes in the studio and stuff like that, and also before that I'd started to come down quite often because in about '84 I started doing some remixes and stuff for Island Records, because a couple of the A&R guys at Island used to come to my gig, believe it or not, in Manchester on a Wednesday night. They used to drive all the way up to listen to what we were playing up there, you know. And this Wednesday night was packed out legends. In fact, I took it over from Greg Wilson. Greg Wilson used to do it. I took over a couple of clubs from Greg, and also doing live radio mixes on the commercial station up in Manchester at the time. So I'm quite indebted to Greg, you know, a great friend and a great mentor. I was coming down, travelling to London all the time, and then the DMC connection happened, and I got sick of driving up and down the motorway, to be quite honest with you, mate, you know. So I moved down here, you know, and loved it ever since. The amount of music and the amount of talent, I've tried to pin this down, you know, since I moved down here, and I'm not quite sure why it is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's that, you know, close proximity to London but isn't London, you know, maybe it's that thing. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's the closeness to Windsor, is that Windsor's got that royal heritage, and, you know, it's a bit kind of special, you know, and, you know, I don't know, but it's, for some reason, it's always had a vibe. When I first moved down here, I lived round the corner from the centre on the Farm Road, where a lot of the big raves obviously used to happen, and that was a blessing. That was a blessing, because I could walk round the corner to this humongous crazy rave, you know, and played it a couple of times as well, you know. That was brilliant, just being able to leave the house with the records and not even get in the car, walk round to the gig.
New steps have changed.
I mean, I used to be resident at the Hacienda in Manchester, and so I went through all that early days of before the big rave scene actually hit in Manchester, and then I kind of ended up moving down here when that all started happening. So I kind of experienced that rave scene, and then hardcore and everything else, and drum and bass, etc., you know, the whole lineage that we all know. I started to experience that down here, and obviously occasionally going home and seeing what it was like up there. So I had these two perspectives going on, you know, of north and south. There's always been this north-south divide for whatever stupid reason, you know. But I started to see the differences and the similarities in between the north and the south, you know, being what I considered bouncing between two hotbeds of musical kind of talent, really, and experience. The Journey Through my Record Collection things we do, I mean, quite often if we do them a Sunday, I really enjoy that because it's more of an all-dayer type experience, you know, and they've always been the kind of events where, you know, children are welcome, etc. And it's a chance to just play absolutely anything that I want. If we do them on Sunday, I mean, we used to do them at the Red Lion, which was the pub. Mark, who runs the Hope, used to run the Red Lion in Windsor, and well, Oakley Green. People from Windsor always go, yeah, that's Oakley Green, not Windsor. It's like, it's Windsor. Obviously, I'm 200 miles. I'm originally from 200 miles away, so these things are just all the same to me. Anyway. And Mark runs that place, really great guy, and he puts on a lot of music events there. I mean, the same with a lot of the places, like I mentioned, the Loading Bay, you know, they put on some amazing events, you know, great little place that. And it's really vibrant. I mean, it's nice to see a couple of things springing up again as well, you know. I do my regular Journey to Record Collection radio show on Music Box Radio. Which is kind of once a month, and I'm due to do one of them next week actually, so I better get my thinking cap on what I'm going to play. But it's just the most eclectic vibe you could think of. I mean, that's the reason I kind of call it Journey to a Record Collection, because it was just simply about me wandering through my digital collection, wandering through my CDs, just everything that I've got, new, old, indifferent, I don't care, you know. So the show and the gigs have just got a really wide, musically diverse kind of policy, and there's pluses and minuses to that. What I realised is it's great when I'm playing out because I can play literally anything that I want, but then when I'm preparing for the show, I'm trawling through so many different styles of music, and old and new, and it's a constant process of non-stop almost from the time I finish the last show to the next show. Is just constantly me, whenever I get time, going through music and trying to pick things out. Oh, that'd be good for the show. Oh, that'd be good for the show, you know. So I'm almost trawling through the whole history of recorded music and modern, currently released stuff, which is an impossible job, but I don't know, that's just the way I am probably. I'm a bit, I overthink things, I overwork things, you know. So it is a big process of sorting, but it's worth it, because when I finally get to do the shows, invariably, I'm quite pleased with the way they've gone, because I've spent that time being really fussy, and, you know, I'll sort out a million tunes, and then that'll get kind of, you know, get kind of cut down a bit, and then I'll find others and I'll slot those in. And so when I eventually come to do the show, I'm really quite proud of them, to be quite honest. Has DJing changed over the years? Immeasurably, vastly, massively. It fascinates me. I mean, I do a lot of, I've been doing a lot of lecturing over the last 18 years or so, and I've been teaching music production and also DJ skills and various other things like composition and music culture and cultural studies and stuff like that. And I do find it quite fascinating the amount of choice there is out there now for if you're a new DJ and you're starting out, you know. I mean, the entry level isn't quite as high, you know, because you've got so many different choices of equipment, from really cheap to quite expensive, from really complicated to really kind of easy, you know. There's not that investment of time quite as much that you have to put into it that there used to be with vinyl. If you wanted to DJ properly with vinyl, you'd have to obviously learn how to mix, analog style, should we say. So there was that investment of time into learning how to do that, you know. Now, with some of the technology, you've got kind of, you know, syncing capabilities and things like that, which, you know, makes it easier to get in there and have a go at DJing, you know. But the choice of equipment is just vast, you know. If I was starting out again now, I wouldn't have a clue which way to turn, I mean, you know. The thing I do like with all the the kind of new technological stuff and the software-based stuff is there's a lot more fun stuff you can do as regards adding effects and kind of playing around with stuff. You know, the playing around that I used to do with the records themselves, now you've got things like effects you can add, etc., which just gives you a lot more kind of scope to do stuff that you could never do before, and that's fun as well. You know, I mean, I love doing things like if I'm playing out on CDJs or media player type systems now. You know, I love things like the live cue buttons, where while I'm playing a tune I'll just put a couple of cue points in and then just flip between them, kind of editing it up kind of live. You know, I do find that I find it very difficult to put all that time in setting up cue points beforehand. I'm still stuck in a way in my old school way of doing it with vinyl. You rocked up with some tunes and you just went for it. You didn't like have everything prepared. You didn't have certain cue points set up on all the, because you couldn't do that. So I still play like that, but with the digital stuff. So yeah, I've got a few gigs coming up. I'm doing Blue Dot Festival at Jodrell Bank in Cheshire, which is I think it's the 20th of July or something like that, which is the big telescope and satellite dish thing in Cheshire, which is I'm really looking forward to, because it's all science based, obviously being called Blue Dot Festival, and I'm a real science buff, so I can't wait, you know. And I'm doing Putney Pies the end of July, obviously in Putney. And I think we've got another Journey Through My Record Collection thing going to be happening at the Hope. I might even be having a little walk down to the loading bay, maybe do something there again, you know. And also I've got a big hip-hop jam in Manchester, going back to my roots, in right at the beginning of August. We did one last year, big old school style kind of hip-hop jam. It was brilliant fun, you know, kids running around, kids break dancing and stuff, and it was superb, you know. So I'm looking forward to that one. And yeah, just generally going out to the local pubs around here and having a little drink. So you might just see me at the bar, and if so, mine's a Guinness, you know.